So this is our 23.5-foot Thor Freedom Elite. I've been driving it about the last 2 years, going back and forth from Florida to Vermont, where my folks have another house, and I've been getting it ready for renting and finally for selling. So this has been great for schlepping all their stuff back, which now sits in a storage unit. So when I take these RV trips and when I live in it for a bit, I've learned a few things. And one of which is to prepare foods ahead of time. So I cook them and then I freeze them in quart-sized bags, flat. You're gonna think I'm a nerd, but it really works. So, and then I put them in these plastic containers that fit perfectly in the freezer and the fridge, and I put them in like this. So I can just pull out veggies, pull out meat from, I don't eat meat, but my brother and sister, brother and mother do. So anyway, so it makes it really easy to prepare meals when you're on the road, especially these kind of trips where we're doing a lot of touristy stuff. So we're going to be out and about all day. We're not going to be just sitting around in a camp area. So, and I have purposely purchased these wooden covers for over the sinks and over the stove area that gives me extra counter space. And so in the morning, I'll just take out the food, stick it in the sink, put the cover back on, and it'll thaw. And in the evening, when we're back wherever we're going to be for the night, I can just warm it up. So, yay, it makes it a lot easier. Yep. I don't know what else to tell you. So we are 2 women over 50, and we're 3 people over 50 traveling in this RV. And my experience is, so about 12 years ago, they bought a larger unit, a 33-foot unit, and I called it the Beast. And I drove it down from Vermont to put it in a rental fleet here where it rented for a year before we decided to downsize and actually use it. Something I felt more comfortable driving. So this is actually a really good size. It's got storage enough underneath that I could bring, you know, it served the purpose of them bringing their belongings back and forth. And then it's also easy enough to maneuver. I mean, I've taken this up into national parks and waterfall areas that, you know, other people are like, really? You made it up here? So I've gotten really good at it. And I had 2 guys here in the community who had CDL licenses teach me how to drive it, how to back it up in particular. I mean, there's a backup camera, but you really need to use your mirrors when you've got a big rig. Not that this is a big rig, but to me it is. I'm used to little sports cars. My last car was a Celica, so yeah. So I spent 2 hours in the back 40 backing up in either direction, so I've gotten pretty good at it. And, you know, the first couple months, you have to get used to the height and, you know, not to ram into trees and stuff, which I did a couple times. But other than that, and then, you know, you learn the capacity of off-grid living. So I've learned that this has a huge water capacity. So I don't always travel with a full water tank because it kind of tips the trailer, makes it feel a little bit more tippy. And it's really big, so it adds weight. So, but when I travel alone, I don't spend a lot of times in parks. So I do have to fill up with water before I leave. So I've learned that I can probably live about 2 months, 3 months, taking showers, right, you know, regularly, not every day, and cleaning dishes and that sort of thing, filling up my water bottles, for about 2.5 months on the water tank. I've learned that the black water tank can last me, if I'm careful, there's little tricks of the trade. I'm not going to gross you out now, but there's little tricks of the trade when you're an RVer to make your black water system not, you know, last longer. And same thing with the gray water. You know, you just have to be really good at water conservation. So, yeah, you've learned. So I'm going to put the food away now before it all thaws. And we leave tomorrow morning, bright in the morning, so I'm going to make beds and clean up in here. We had a day trip down to Lake Okeechobee with friends recently, So I've got some cleaning to do, and like I said, I've been preparing all week with the food, so I'll stack that up, stack the fridge and the freezer, and we will be ready to go first thing in the morning. And the first place we're going to stop is Southern Florida College, where there's the largest on-site built examples of Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural designs in one place. He designed the entire college, obviously. I think there's a couple Newtonian houses, and so I'm really looking forward to that. That's been on my bucket list for years and years. So we will see you in the morning. Happy Sunday, and yay! Biddy's Resurrection Tour, here we come! Woohoo!